All right, Homesteader family, welcome back to the journey. Welcome to this edition of the Sunday Monday vlog. I hope everybody's had a good week. I hope the weather's been good. It's been awesome here. It's been in the mid 70s, almost to the 80s for the last several days, and it looks like it's going to get better and better until tomorrow. Starting Monday, it looks like it's going to start getting cooler again in the evenings. And then I believe either Tuesday or Wednesday, we have a big storm coming in. So that's what we got going on. It's been grinding it out, just trying to knock out all the. Let me turn this down a little bit. Um, but just grinding away, knocking out the woods, trying to get things done. That was a picture today for the clip. I was out there moving some brush. The dogs stayed home today. They've been gone for the last couple days at the homestead. And you can see they're all tuckered out. So everybody's in here. They're in there sleeping, doing their thing. And they'll be headed out to the homestead tomorrow with me. Possibly, I'm not sure. I might go out one more day because I do have to haul water tomorrow. So I'll haul water, leave the dogs here, come back for lunch, and then probably take the dogs in the afternoon. Because I think 3 weeks from tomorrow is going to be the forestry mulching coming in, getting everything done. So just trying to do what I can before they get here, so that way I can really knock everything out. I've had a lot of people asking me about how Arkansas is. Am I still in love with Arkansas? Do I plan to move out of Arkansas? So on and so forth. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of things right now going on that, has me wanting to kind of move out of Arkansas, but not. And that is for Alaska. And that is the new season of Alaskan Bush People. For those of you that haven't seen it, it's something I've been watching since the beginning. It's just a crazy family, and just seeing the journey between different homesteads, kind of like me, going all over the place, changing all the time. But on their new season, several of the kids have gone back up to Alaska to check it out. And then I saw a military couple on YouTube that is called, I think, Home Free Alaska, and they're moving to Alaska. And then, of course, I've got some friends on Facebook that I don't know them personally, but they live up in Alaska, so I see the pictures of Alaska every day. And I've always wanted to go to Alaska at some point, especially for the Northern Lights. So that's cut on to me a little bit. I actually did go on realtor.com, and I did look at a couple properties up in Alaska, but the prices, like everywhere, has just skyrocketed from what it used to be. I could have got a decent amount of land in Fairbanks for a decent price if I sold everything again. And now it's like untouchable. It's down to like less than 20 acres for the same price of what I'd be able to afford. So not something I'm looking at. It's always there in my mind. Something does call me to Alaska, and Montana was another big one that I was constantly looking at for a long time. Alaska, though, at some point I'll probably go to Alaska just to see the Northern Lights, and whether it's a year or 2 years or whatever, eventually I hope that one day I'll be able to get up to Alaska. As for Arkansas, nothing has changed with Arkansas. I love Arkansas. I love the people. And I'm really loving right now. The leaves are changing colors. The cooler air that we had for about a week now, we're back up to heat where I'm sweating while I'm on the homestead. So I don't like the heat part of it. But then again, looking at everybody's post up in Alaska, talking about how it's freezing and snow, and today in Colorado they got snow. Um, Definitely glad I'm not in a cold climate. Excuse me. And that's why I'm thinking probably way, way down the line, when I'm done with animals, when I'm at a older age, a lot older, like 30, 40 years from now, then I might go up to Alaska and start an adventure up there. But for Arkansas, for those of you that haven't been to Arkansas, so this area is totally different than anywhere I've ever lived. And we got winds right now going on, and everything's dried out, and it's dusty, and that's what my cough is from. Just like in Colorado, when it got all dusty and the roads are blowing dust and everything else. But Arkansas gives me pretty much everything I'm looking for. The white winters, the white Christmases, that's going to be a different story. That's something, as everybody knows, I've always been a big Christmas person, and I really love Christmas. So Arkansas is not giving me that because it doesn't tend to get a lot of snow, like where I came from in Colorado, where we get several feet of snow in one storm, and it stacks up, and then the wind blows into drifts. And the drifts get deeper and deeper and deeper. So, that part's out. And then the ticks, the flies, and the humidity. That's still a thing that I have not gotten used to. I don't think I will. The animals were really happy last week because the flies were gone. But now that we're back in the mid-70s and 80s, the flies are back once again. So, it's a pain in the butt, but in another week or so, the cold air should come back in, take the flies out, don't have to worry about bugs. However, for those of you that saw my post, I think I put the post up today or yesterday, I'm not sure, the different bugs here in Arkansas. In Colorado, you got the tarantulas, the scorpions, and that was pretty much it. There's not a lot of bugs in Colorado, especially 9,500 feet where I lived at the ranch, and then 8,500 feet where I did the house. At night in Colorado, it's just dead silent. You don't hear chirping. Yes, happy camper, I'm having fun. Hopefully you're having fun as well. But in Colorado at nighttime, it's just dead silent. And when I had people come to visit, they were like, how do you not hear yourself thinking? Because it's just so dead quiet. Velo, where are you living at right now that you're thinking about moving south? Awesome, happy camper. I'm glad you're having a blast. Let's see. Yes, my animals are being good. So, 2 questions for you, Velo. One, where are you living at now? What state or country? And then south, where in the south are you looking at? They would be my questions for me to make any type of comment on that. How, like here in Arkansas, Michigan, I actually have a friend up in Michigan right now. I don't think this is my friend. I'm not sure. It could be, but I doubt it. I actually have a friend up in Michigan that is looking at coming down and going to look at part of the property and maybe make his own camp on the backside of my property, because then I've got somebody to hang out with. We can go to town to a pool hall, shoot pool, go bowling, and then he does gardening and all that type of stuff as well. So it'd be good to have somebody else around. If things get bad and things get really bad, then I've got somebody I can rely on. He's up in Michigan right now. But I would highly recommend it. I mean, it's 50-50 on everything. I mean, look, I want to live in Alaska at some point, and that's a very cold climate. But back to what I was saying, and yes, happy camper, I'll be doing firewood videos in the future. But with Arkansas, why I'm still in love with Arkansas and why I'm loving Arkansas is one, like I said, the bugs. The bugs out here, for those of you that saw the post. No, it was almost 80 degrees today, so I did not fire up the wood stove. I had the wood stove going for about a week and a half. Okay, Velo, what I will say on what you're thinking about Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, or Arkansas. When I searched for my animals because certain states don't allow me to have exotic animals. So that's one reason why I chose Arkansas. Tennessee has some of the most beautiful land, along with the very edge of North Carolina, the west side of North Carolina. But both North Carolina and Tennessee are extremely expensive. The taxes are higher, and I didn't have the money to buy that type of land because I wanted a large amount of land. Kentucky looked nice, but for some reason, Kentucky just never clicked with me. And then Missouri has different types of taxes and stuff that I wasn't keen on. I'm not sure exactly what all Missouri is. I looked, there weren't many places up there that fit what I wanted. And just the communities and everything in Missouri just weren't for me at the time. I do know somebody that just moved from Colorado to Missouri to Rolla, Missouri. And that's where her family is originally from, and she's loving being back. But back to Arkansas, the things I can give you on Arkansas is there's good and there's bad. Bad, there's a lot of trash. I don't understand why people here just throw trash out the windows. I mean, anywhere around there's trash, but Arkansas seems to have a lot of trash, like West Virginia. West Virginia had a lot of trash when I drove out there. A lot of crack pipes, needles found on all the properties I looked at in West Virginia. And here in Arkansas, there's a lot of trash. And I'm picking up trash all the time. But that's also due to tornadoes as well, and big windstorms that carry trash around. Yes, President Clinton's from Arkansas. And I believe Walmart was started in Arkansas. The goods and the ticks, the flies, the humidity, that's just not my thing. But I know Michigan has humidity as well. What really fits me here in Arkansas is the bugs. That's one thing I love. While I'm out there working on Homestead, no matter what I'm doing, you always find stick bugs or praying mantis or the different caterpillars or the just different bugs. Fireflies, Colorado didn't have that. Other places I've lived haven't had those. The tree frogs here, they're awesome to find and see and listen to at night. And at night during the summer, it's nothing but melodies of insects chirping and croaking and everything else. The wildlife, we have elk here in Arkansas. We have deer, white-tailed deer. We have bobcats that I've seen, coyotes that I've seen, black bear that I've seen on the homestead. So there's big game here, just like in Colorado. Not as much as in Colorado, but there is wild turkey, so on and so forth. So Arkansas provides a lot of nature. Yeah, I've been to Pennsylvania, so Pennsylvania has a lot of trash as well. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, originally, and then lived in Delaware, lived in Florida, lived in Texas, Colorado, and now out here to Arkansas. But another great thing with Arkansas is the warmth. Right now, like Colorado's got snow, Alaska's got snow, got freezing temperatures. Montana's had it. We're in the 70s and 80s here. The leaves are just now starting to change and falling off the trees. You have 4 seasons in Arkansas. A lot of places I've lived, you don't have the 4 seasons just due to the fact Yeah, see, I'm not a wild game person, Eden, but yes, if you look, I'm in Searcy County. Searcy County is the most dense population for the elk. And I don't know what happened to my music. I just noticed that. Oh, now I know what it was. It's already went through its thing. But Searcy County has the highest density. They traded, I think, with Colorado for elk and gave Colorado rattlesnakes or something somebody was saying. So we had the highest density of elk here. Hey, Fringe Recall, how you doing? Um, but yeah, Arkansas for me, the bugs, the wildlife, the life, just plain out life. Plants, weeds, thorn bushes, blackberry bushes, fruit trees. As I'm clearing the woods, I'm finding all these wild plum trees. We have almond trees, we have pecan trees, we have black walnut trees. I mean, there's food, there's life here. If you look back to the old Indian tribes and stuff like that, Arkansas was one of the places that thrived. It wasn't people just surviving, they thrived. And my county that I live in, Searcy County, is one of the poorest counties in the state, but people survive. And the reason they're able to survive is because of the wildlife, because of the vegetation, everything here. You don't necessarily have to go to the store to get stuff. People go out, they pick blackberries and make jams and jellies and stuff like that. You know, you can grow wheat, corn, so on and so forth, and make breads. Doing okay, cutting right to field of cover crop for the garden today. 57 Egyptian walk. Awesome. That's what everybody should be doing right now. Everybody should be getting ready to put in gardens and get everything going. The other part with Arkansas here in Searcy County, we have the Buffalo River. So if you're a fisher, a fishing person, a rafting person, a water person, all that is right here. It's right down the street from my homestead. Summertime, not this past year, but year before, I go swimming at the river all the time, and it's only 6 miles to one of the entrances from my homestead, so it's just a quick jump. Other thing with Arkansas, it looks like anything will grow, and somebody told me clearing, if I use a bulldozer, wherever tracks go, grass will grow, and no matter what I clear, it grows right back up. So for livestock and animals, if you have goats and stuff like that, like I do, you don't have something like that in Colorado where they can eat and eat and eat and eat. I need to open up more land, which that's what I'm doing, to make sure they don't eat it down to dirt like they have in their current pen. But Max, just 9. But in different states like Tennessee, Kentucky, so on and so forth, you still have that vegetation. So where any of the northern states, it's normally a lot colder. Stuff doesn't grow as long. You can't have big gardens. Different produce you can't grow because of short seasons. And you have to have hot houses, greenhouses, things like that in order to grow in cold climates. Another plus of Arkansas, until I came here, they normally only got like 2 to 4 inches of snow. Where the 2 winters I've been here already, we've had 14 inches my first year out here and 16 inches the next year. So unlike Colorado, I'm not shoveling snow to get out my front door. I'm not having to clear my driveway or wait for the snow to melt in order to get out my property. So overall, I'm here in Arkansas. I've been here 2 years. Officially had all the animals out here as of October 20th of 2020. Excuse me. And I don't plan to go anywhere. So I plan to be here for a long, long time. Like I said, once I get older, where I'm getting rid of the animals. I don't have the animals except dogs. Then at that point, I'll probably look at Alaska, just because I've always wanted to be in Alaska, wanted to go to Alaska, and that's what I'll end up doing. Uh, Prices here in Arkansas are a lot cheaper than a lot of other places I looked at. Gas prices are cheaper than most places. People that I know and talk to on a regular basis, I'm normally anywhere from 10 cents to $1.50 cheaper than other states. Here in Arkansas, it was a dollar, or not a dollar, $3.26 when I filled up several days ago, which is cheaper than a lot of different places from people I've talked to. Property taxes are a lot cheaper. Sales tax is basically 10%, which is comparable to Colorado, where I just came from. I was paying 9.5 there, I think, and it's like 9 point something here. So for those of you that are like in Delaware, $3.99. Yeah. So see, Norman, different places are normally more expensive. But like when I lived in Delaware, there was no sales tax. So if you come from a state with no sales tax, that's going to feel it when you move here. But then again, if you're not paying $10,000 a year in property tax, like for my 120 acres over at the homestead, I have my mortgage every month, and then I pay $154 a year. Yes, $154 a year on 120 acres of hardwood forest. So that's just how cheap it is. Now, the rental house that I have in Marshall, that's on an acre and a half, 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, and that's like $354 a year. So you don't have the acreage, but you have a house and the shed and stuff on it. So that's still not bad. I mean, Colorado, I was paying, I think, $1,800 a year for my house when I lived in Colorado Springs, and that was on like 1/25 of an acre. So for a lot of different places, taxes are higher, where Arkansas is cheaper as well. Yes, Velo. That's what I'm talking about. That's one thing. So when I did my research, Mississippi and Alabama and West Virginia are like the cheapest for everything overall. Mississippi, Alabama, the mosquitoes are so horrible. The 100% like humidity all the time, the heat, I just didn't want that. So Mississippi and Alabama went out the door. Went out to West Virginia, looked at West Virginia. Every single property I went to, the well pumped red. And that's from the stuff they put in the ground from the fracking. So that was out right there. Along with every property had trash on it, crack pipes, and needles. So I'm like, yep, I don't want West Virginia. So somebody said, look at Arkansas. And I'm like, who the hell lives in Arkansas? And so I went on realtor.com. And I found a 40-acre property. The guy wanted $59,000 for it. I offered him $40,000 cash, and he said he'd take it. I said I wanted to see it first, because after I saw all the properties in West Virginia, I'm like, yeah, I need to make sure I lay eyes on it, so I'm not buying something I don't want. Well, when I got out here, I had to build 2.5 miles of driveway to get to the property with the trailer. The realtor had a side-by-side, and it was rough getting into the property with the side-by-side. Had the easement all in, it just no road. Big, deep ruts, everything else. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want that. So the realtor knew a investor that had 6 tracts. They're roughly 20 acres a tract. And I went ahead and bought all the tracts because he was willing to owner finance. And then I got the mortgage through the bank right now, which I've got to try to cut that down, because now with all the interest rates going up, I'm in a 5-year ARM adjustable. So in, I think, 3 more years, my rate's going to adjust and it's going to go up, which is going to make my mortgage go up. But yes, Arkansas, when I came out here, I did my research. I knew I was moving into one of the poorest counties. This is a more, for those of you that are constitutional, a more constitutional county. Nothing I've ever seen before. My ex that I was with, her ex had called and left a voicemail talking about he was going to kill me, he was going to kill her, and the cops said, you know, they won't do nothing until something happens, because that's a First Amendment freedom of speech, where everywhere else I've lived that's considered terroristic threatening, along with me being ex-law enforcement, that's, you know, you have a voicemail. But it's kind of totally different anywhere that I've lived before than here on law, which has its pros, has its cons. I mean, I love the fact that, you know, people can't just constantly call the cops on you here like I had in Colorado, where, you know, I had the cops come up to my place over 40 times over stupid people calling, you know, I beat my animals, I don't feed my animals, I starve my animals, you know, so on and so forth. And I had animal control and stuff come up to the homestead as well, where here, this is a big shock too. So Searcy County is so poor, they don't even have a animal control unit here. So there's no animal control here. So there's dogs running, there's cats running. You can't, you know, if somebody don't feed animals here, you know, that it is what it is. I mean, you know, that's a con, because some animals probably do suffer bad. But there's a pro. Yes, that is one of mine as well, being ex-law enforcement. And they're very big here. And there's, I mean, Arkansas is totally different. So, not to go into all these different subjects, but like Harrison, Arkansas, I've sent pictures to different friends and stuff, because it's just, I mean, it's wild on, you know, how things are. So, on the north side of Harrison, Arkansas, they had the billboard that says Black Lives Matter. And then on the south side of Harrison, it says it's not hate to love, or something like that. And underneath is White Pride Radio. So, I mean, there's radical things on both ends depending where you are in Arkansas. Some of them are really big Republicans, some of them are really big Democrats. So it's a big clash of all different things here. It's not just one way. And that, you know, there's pros and cons to everything, like I said, and that's one of the things that I like here, is I'm able to do what I want. In Colorado, they wanted almost 25,000 in permits, soil analysis tests, compaction test, and all that stuff to build a house. Where here, if you buy in a county like here, Searcy County, where there's no restrictions, then you're able to do what you want without having to pay all these crazy fees. If you want to live in a shed, if you want to live in a tiny home, if you want to live in a Connex box, if you want to live in a dilapidated shack, you can do that. Most states, most places I lived, I've never heard anything like that. There's always somebody you have to pay to be able to do something. And like I've said, in all these years I've been doing YouTube and my whole life, is since when do you have to pay to live on a planet created for free? And that's been my big thing, is why can't you just live on your land, do what you want? And I haven't been able to find that. You've got that right, Fringe Recall. So, for those of you that haven't seen in here, this is one of the cons of living in Arkansas, not having permits and stuff like that. You have to remember, there's pros and cons to everything. So, by not having permits, then, you know, walls weren't done right. You got termites and everything. I've showed all this is termite damage, everything else. We're going here. I'll show you the electrical here. So these lights I did, you can see the yellow 10 gauge wire or 12 gauge wire. But in here, there is 3 different breaker boxes. And this box is like from the 1940s. So there's one breaker box right there. And this is what I'm talking about. When you don't have permits and stuff like that, you have to realize if you're buying here in Arkansas, you're going to have these issues, you're going to have these problems that you're going to either have to know or you're going to have to hire somebody, which is going to cost money to fix a bunch of stuff. Here's another breaker box there, which is like the newest panel put in. And then if we go back here, there is another breaker box. So there's all these breaker boxes in here, and wiring's been all over. Everybody saw I redid the plumbing lines and stuff like that. I've got to still get underneath that floor, like I showed you, where I can barely fit under in order to redo all the plumbing. But I'll be getting to that. I still have to redo this kitchen. And then, of course, the bathroom, I found out the sink was leaking. The toilet was leaking. So you can see the water damage around the floor. I'll have to end up ripping all this up and fixing all that. But I'm able to do that, and it's not going to cost me money in permit fees and everything else to have it inspected and do everything else. So that is the pro of being able to be here and doing those things versus Colorado or other states where I would be paying to do all that. However, then you look at the con, which is there are no permits. If there were permits here, then I wouldn't have all this work to do because it would have been done right the first time. However, I can take as long as I want fixing all this, where Colorado, as soon as you get your permit, you have 12 months. Yep, 12 months, 1 year in Fremont County to build a house. If you're not done in that first year, then you have to renew the permit and pay the money again. So Arkansas just fit for me. And, you know, this is where I'm making my home at, and being able to be out on the homestead and doing what I'm doing, getting things set up is getting me excited. And then, like I've said, I'm looking at either doing a in-ground home, an ICF home, or a block home. Just due to possible tornadoes. There was a tornado that came through St. Joe. You got that right, French Recall. You got that for sure. I just tried to stay away from the whole government thing altogether. I'm just, like I said, I watch the news, but I don't really talk about the news and stuff like that. I know other homestead channels do, and that gets a lot more viewers, a lot more content. But for me, I just want to be on the homestead. I just want to do my thing. They leave me alone, I leave them alone, and I go about my business. So, that's my thoughts basically for Arkansas. Yep, live and let live. And like my thing, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. But eventually I'm going to be out on the homestead. I'm not sure what I'm doing exactly. Right now I'm clearing the woods, trying to get ready for the forestry mulcher in 3 weeks. Once that's done, I'll have a little bit of video on that. And I got to try to get a well put in out there. I've got to do a bunch of different things. But like I said, once again, I got 7 years until I get the balloon payment on my Colorado property. And then once that happens, that will give me the money to actually do stuff. Where right now, like I said before, $1,700 a month just doesn't give me money to do anything, when my grain bill alone for the animals is $1,400 a month. Not including, I'm spending 700, 365, 6, 720, 730, $730 a month in hay. So right there, you know, that's just covering my feed bill, and that's that. So, as you saw, I don't have any more plywood up past the wood stove. You know, I still have plywood to get. I just, you know, prices are so high still, and trying to pinch pennies and do what I can. So with that, like I said, overcap, Arkansas has been amazing. I'm not leaving Arkansas until I get really old. Um, I'm loving it here, doing my thing here. Yesterday, I spent the day clearing the woods like I do pretty much every day. But after that, I was up. I was hugging on Caesar and Cleopatra the camels and the Zorse and the horses, giving them peppermint candies, and just in my element, doing my thing, enjoying life. So I hope everybody enjoys their week. I hope everybody had a good week, and try to get things going. Try to get stuff. Come spend the winter with you next year. Okay, that'd be cool. Um, but yeah, so overcap, just Arkansas is amazing. I'm not going nowhere. I hope everybody does their thing. Honestly, Fringe Recall, yes. I'm not 100% sure who you are now. Oh, my friend up in Michigan. Okay, I'm used to your Cheeto thing. Uh, okay, so yeah. Now I know who you are, Steve. You threw me off. You should have had your Cheeto thing as your name on there. Um, but yeah, so I'm here. I'm doing my thing. I'm happy. Try to get some gardens going. Try to find you guys some land. I'm going to do a video about why you should buy wooded land now. Yeah, I understand that. Um, but I'm going to go over why you should buy wooded land now. Because now that I'm clearing the woods and I'm doing what I'm doing, after this forestry mulching's done, I'm going to show you exactly why I think you should buy wooded land. Some defensive things about the property, some bonus things you get from buying wooded land versus pasture land. I was looking at selling the whole 120 acres to move to a established farm, but I'm finding bigger and better benefits by having the woods than if I would have had a already set up farm. So with that, go on realtor.com, go on Zillow, you know, go to all the different sites, look at land, and do your research, find places like here, and the move should be happening now. You should be finding these places now, not when things get terribly bad. Also, just throw it out there. They're talking again in the news about food is going up, and they're talking about overseas. Different electric grids are happening to go down. So that's one other thing I'll show you guys real quick, and that is you want to have things set up if the power does go down. And for those of you that have flea markets and antique shops and stuff like that around, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you go and you buy a bunch of hurricane lamps, and if you can find the oil, buy the oil, so at least you have lights. You know, batteries are going to die in flashlights. And then of course I'm going to be doing video again on my Strike a Fire, since everybody thinks that Diamond pays me for those videos, but I did stack up on those again, so it's going to be a lot easier with lighters and striker fires to make fires to cook on and everything else, and to survive if things get too bad, and oil and hurricane lamps if you need lighting. So do what you can to get stocked up. I mean, here's a little preview. Some rice and beans and stuff like that, seasonings. You want to have this type of stuff, guys. So do what you can. Do what you can afford. But like I said, your best bet is find some land in a area that provides food for you, like Arkansas or other places that you can hunt and do stuff like that. So I'm not a hunter, but it's a possibility. So I hope everybody has a great night. Okay, Velo, I'm glad to hear that. And So Velo, that's my friend Steve, Fringe Recall, that I was talking about earlier, that lives up in Michigan. So maybe you guys might make a comment back and forth to each other. Find out you guys might be right down the street from each other. And Steve's looking at moving down here from Michigan. So I hope everybody has a great night. And remember, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. Enjoy your night, everybody. Enjoy your week. And get out there and make something happen.